I went for a run. This is a continuation of a post that I shared last week. And I went for a run, and while I was on the run, I started to get clear about a couple of things. And the main thing that I was thinking about while I was running is, why do we focus and remember the negative more than we remember the positive? We've all experienced this, where we are in relationships with ourselves and we remember the negative things that we've done, the negative things that we've experienced, our negative memories, way more clearly than the positive. We do this with people in relationships. We can remember in detail some of the meanest, most hurtful ways that we've interacted with people. And we don't remember with as much clarity and with as much precision some of the ways that those same people have been generous to us and helped us out. And so it's easy to go straight to the negative when we're dealing with ourselves and with other people. And y'all, I was running and I had to repent. And when I say repent, I mean what the word means, which is to turn, which is to shift. I had to shift my perspective because I had a really rough month from September through the early part of October. It was probably the roughest month of my life. I don't even want to go into it because I'm just happy that it's over. When it was October 1st, I was like, thank you, Lord. It's over. But during that month, I was using negative memories as fuel for how to respond in the current hurtful situations and circumstances. Okay, I was using all of my memories of having been hurt before, all of my memories of having been disappointed before, and I was trying to conjure some kind of wisdom, some kind of, I don't know, armor or fuel to get through the moments by really being focused on my negative experiences. And y'all, I forgot that every year of my life in school, I was highlighted or promoted for some good work that I didn't even know I was doing. I forgot that when I was in 8th grade, I turned in some homework to my English teacher, who thought it was so good that she submitted the homework for some contest she knew about, and the homework won the contest. I forgot that I was top 10% of my class and turned down money to go to school. Because I wanted to go to a certain school, right? I forgot all of these good things about myself. I forgot that I've always been, I used to get called out of class to come show other kids in other classes how to do the work that the teacher was teaching. Like, my vice principal and my guidance counselor gave me their offices to apply for scholarships, gave me their desks. They would go work somewhere else and gave me their offices because they believed in me so much. Like, I forgot these things. I forgot that my family has invested in me over and over and over again. I have an idea and they just say, here's some money for it. I forgot these things. I was using a lot of negative memories to fuel my feelings about my most recent circumstances and forgot so many of the positive things. I was like, girl, you done forgot who you are. You done forgot you live. You forgot that you Cardi B, you run this streets like cardio. I say streets because I wanna edit it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who's all watching. I know some children get on my live, so I don't want to just be cussing for the children. But you know, I forgot who I was. I allowed negative situations. I allowed negative opinions. I allowed other people's rejection. I allowed things not working out that probably weren't supposed to work out anyway. I allowed all those things to confirm for me a negative narrative that I was using presently and was wondering why I was continuing to experience a replication or a cycle of negative experiences in my life, because I forgot. I think a lot of us have forgotten. We used to do this thing at Awakens called the Amnesia Project, which explored how we all have a sense of cultural amnesia, this sense that we are all kind of walking amnesiacs, that we've forgotten what is great about us and allowed other people, other organizations, other communities, other experiences to heap onto us this negative narrative about who we are. And then we use that in order to operate. And we call it being safe. We call it being reasonable. We call it being real. You know, we call it coping with, you know, life and making your lemonade, you know what I mean? But oftentimes there's a difference between using wisdom from past hurts as a way to pull yourself through and using those past hurts and becoming the past hurt and becoming the experience that created this negative narrative and then replicating it going forward, right? And psychologists, I did some research and I was like, why do we remember the negative so much easier than we do the positive? Why is it so much work to go back to our past and remember these positive things? The reason why we remember the negative so much better than the positive is because when negative things happen to us, it triggers our survival instincts. Okay, this is psychology. It triggers things like adrenaline and cortisol when we experience rejection, when we experience pain, when we experience hurt, disappointment, sadness, when we experience actual physical discomfort. We're going to be afraid and we're going to stand there and fight, or we're going to be afraid and we're going to flee, or we're going to freeze. And all the hormones that move us into those stances also heighten our senses. Our eyesight is better. Our hearing is better. We feel things like wind and temperature on our bodies better. And so it makes sense that we would have a more accurate memory of these things because A, it triggered us and made us feel like we weren't going to survive. But B, our literal bodies adapted to a sense of needing to survive. And therefore, we have more clear memories of these negative circumstances, okay? So understanding that we have this intelligent design around responding and remembering things that seem to threaten our livelihood, knowing that we can take that same intelligence and begin to train ourselves to remember the positive and remember what I call our superpowers. To come into an understanding of what we have innately inside of us and what we do on a daily basis and what we've done for a long time or done over and over again that give us a supernatural ability to be a contribution wherever we are. This is the kind of clarity that I want all of us to come into. Yes, you are very good at remembering negative circumstances, negative stories. We all remember the stories of being rejected. We all remember the stories of not being invited. We all remember the stories of trying for something and not getting it. We all remember those times that we got in trouble. We all remember the times that we, got denied for something. We all know those things very well. What I'm suggesting is that we move into a season of remembering the things that did go well, remembering the things that did work out, remembering the ways that we have been supported, and remembering the ways that we made a valuable and invaluable, irreplaceable contribution where we were. Okay? So these are our superpowers. And I did this because I was asked to submit a resume a few weeks ago. And as I was doing my resume, this is kind of where the train of thinking started. I was like, listen, we ought to create a resume every month just to remind ourselves of who we are and what we bring to the table. We ought to create a practice throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout our lives that helps us to, in the same way that we automatically get a snapshot and automatically have a memory of those things that hurt us, those things that disappoint us, those things that make us sad and angry. And the same that we automatically do that, we can begin to cultivate an automatic memory. And this is the other thing I learned when I did my research is, y'all, when we experience joy, contentment, happiness, support, pride, when we experience that stuff, it feels like our natural state. So we are at rest. It feels like how we are naturally supposed to live, and that's correct. We are designed with this natural affinity towards love and happiness and satisfaction. Marvin Gaye says we were made for love, by love, with love. We were created just to love. And so when we feel love, it feels more like our natural state, which would also highlight why we don't remember these positive moments, these moments of love and support as accurately as we remember painful moments. And further proves that we need to be more intentional and be more careful to actually document having our conversations and remember the times that we feel supported, we feel loved, we feel like we're winning, we feel successful, we feel like we've done it right, we feel like we've made a valuable contribution, we feel like we've understood something, we feel like we've made the right choice, we feel like we fought a fight and we won. It's important to to remember and record and relish these stories because they have more information for us about our natural state than the rejection, than the sadness, than the fear, than the pain. So I want to invite you today there's a few things I want to invite you to. First thing is I'm starting a 40 days of Superpower community. Okay, we're starting November 1st, hashtag 40 days of Superpower. I'm going to be sharing via live broadcast, via recorded videos. I'm going to be sending information and practices out to my email database, but I want to start a community of folks that are intentional for 40 days. It takes 40 days to form a habit, 20 days to break a habit, and then 20 days to build another one back up in its place. So for 40 days, I'm going to lead a community through what it means to name your superpowers and plan to contribute them every day. Okay? I'm going to start a community, 40 days of superpower. So if you go to my bio, there's a little link there for you to join that community. The other thing that I've done is I've created a planner called the 40 Days of Superpower Planner. And this is a PDF document that you can download. And why is it a PDF and not a book? Because how many times do you plan to read a book or plan to take something with you to do and you forget it at home or you can't find it in your car, or it gets beat up in your trunk? I want to eliminate that as an excuse. So this planner is a way for us to have at our fingertips while we're sitting, waiting in traffic, while you're waiting on your name to be called, while you're on an airplane, or even if you're in a meeting or at work and you need to step out for a minute. This planner has daily practices, daily quotes, daily questions to ask yourself around what are my superpowers? What do I have to do today? What do I have to do this week? And how can I contribute my superpowers? There's a whole section on being grateful for yourself. How many times do we get to write out why we're grateful for ourselves? In our gratitude journal, we can write about who we're grateful for and what we're grateful for, and oh, I'm so glad that happened, and oh, I'm so glad for this, and I'm grateful for my couch, and I'm grateful for my car, and I'm grateful for my house. But how often do we get to sit down and talk about how grateful we are for ourselves? There's a space in the Superpower Planner for that. And so I want you guys to join me on this journey because, baby, I forgot how bad I was. I done forgot. And guess what? I'm not going to forget again. I'm going to remember. And I want you to be a part of the community of people who remember their superpowers. Because guess what happens when you remember your superpowers? When you remember your superpowers, you experience discrimination, but you don't become the discrimination. When you remember your superpowers, you may experience moments where you feel left or abandoned, but you know that you are not the reason for your abandonment. When you remember your superpowers, things may not work out, but you have a ready response to the next experience that will work out because you know your contribution. It's a very different stance in the world when we walk into a room fully having clarity on what we bring to the room, who we are, whether people in the room recognize it or not, and what we leave with when we leave the room. And I'm just so excited to share and to learn and to understand other people's superpowers because then we start cross-pollinating superpowers. Then we start outsourcing superpowers and the areas that we need growth in when we recognize other people's superpowers. We're not experiencing jealousy. We're not experiencing envy. We're not experiencing, oh no, I'm not as good as him or her. We're saying, come over here. I know my stuff, but I know I need yours. I know what I bring to the table. I know I can blow or write or dance or produce or sing or whatever. I know I can do all of these things, but I need your superpowers to combine with mine, and then we get a little Captain Planet energy going on, earth, wind, water, fire, hot, Captain Planet, We get to experience this beautiful synergy of superpowers and this beautiful collaborative energy that brings us more abundance, that generates more happiness, that generates more energy, that connects us to more and more people who want to invest in and support what we're doing. And what we're doing, the quality of what we're doing is richer and better. It makes people feel the way we feel. Super. So I want to encourage you today to consider joining that community, hashtag 40 Days of Superpower. The link to sign up for the emails is in the bio. The link to get your planner is also in my bio, and I'll also drop it here in the Facebook chat. Listen, y'all, I'm not playing around. I am so tired of us at the end of the day feeling beat up and feeling like life is just more of the same. Our cultural climate, our political climate, our social climate tells us every day that we are not enough, tells us every day that we are a threat. If you are a woman or a woman of color, if you are a person of color, this goes double, triple, infinity for you. Our climate right now tells us that we are so much less than we are. And if we don't do the work to train our minds to remember how super and how much power we have, then we will naturally absorb those messages and use those messages to decide what our future will be instead of the truth, instead of being clear, instead of owning and stewarding our power in a way that generates more power. So I welcome you to join that community. I welcome you to at least go look at the planner. I welcome you to sign up for my emails and share with other people. At the Downtown Club at the Met on October 24th, I'm hosting a lunch and learn where for the whole lunch hour from 12 to 1, we're gonna be excavating how we can enhance our superpowers to grow our bottom line. We're going to connect our superpowers to our generativity and watch how when we show up as our full selves, we grow everything around us, including how we earn money. And we are going to really embrace that which is good and true about us. We are so good at understanding how we failed. We are great at talking ourselves into learning the lessons of our past failures. We are great at remembering the warnings of our past pains. We're great at that. So while I believe that there is wisdom in that, I'm asking if we can just shift our perspective and do something that we're not as great at, which is knowing, naming, and planning how we steward our superpowers. I'm about to go run again. Listen, I can't stop running now because I don't know what else I'm going to realize on the trail. Baby, I'm about to run. And I recommend you go and do something that is a safe place for you to allow your positive memories, your memories of being loved, appreciated, cared for, and supported to emerge, to confirm all of the value, all the richness, all of the essential qualities that your life possesses. This world would not be what it is without you, and we need you to show up in your superpowers.